Batman.
So
It's like
Warner
that
Brothers?
doesn't really count. That doesn't really count
DC?
because it's kind of it's all over the place. So maybe I'm gonna pick something. It's not Star Wars anymore. It used to be Star Wars. My whole life up until Disney
Mm.
screwed it up. It was Star Wars. It was everything about Star Wars because my dad loved Star Wars, so I like got into Star Wars because
Mhm.
we went. My earliest memory of going to watch a movie was a Star Wars movie. It was when they did the re-releases. So I love that franchise. Not anymore,
It's kind of dead.
sadly. Yeah,
I see a Millennium Falcon behind you.
yeah. That was my dad's Millennium Falcon
Oh.
that I made.
You made that?
Yeah, it's a model kit.
Oh, I was gonna say like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, just carving out of
Yeah.
wood.
No.
Chiseling.
No, it was a kit. It was a kit. Man, that's a tough question because there are so many that are kind of messed up now. I love Harry Potter.
It's
I
not
was
yet
literally
messed
listening
up.
to
It's
Harry
not that
Potter.
bad.
It's not messed up, it's not, it had some not so great, extra movies like Fantastic Beasts. Some of those aren't great, but they're not horrible.
They're not tremendously terrible.
Yeah. So I really like Harry Potter. I'm listening to Harry Potter right now. I'm in Order of the Phoenix. Re-listening to those. We just had that on my channel. Just talked about Harry Potter. It's something that I really like. I guess I'd say that because right now a lot of franchises are not good.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll think about a bunch of other things, and I was like, oh, why didn't I say that?
Oh, you
Why
can
didn't I
text
say
me later and be like, I want this in here.
I'll just put that in there. Just put text right over my face going.
I could totally do that if you want. So I know you said that you used to love Star Wars, but did that include the EU? Like you read all the EU novels?
Yes. Yes. And that's why I love Ryan so much, because I was like, Ryan's like the only person that on the internet, it seemed like at the time, that was like fighting for the EU. Like I said, in my teens, I was really into it because of all my friends were also into it. And they were reading the EU. And I was reading it. And we were like having conversations about, oh, this stuff I just learned about Boba Fett, or these things that I learned about the apprentices and the Jedi Order and stuff like that. Like we were really deep into the EU.
Yeah, I never read the EU, and I kind of regret it because when I was in high school, all my female friends, surprisingly, well, a good chunk of them were reading the EU.
Really?
Yeah, it was like none of the guys were actually reading them, but two of the girls were reading it. I was like, it was bizarro. And I was like, whatever, I don't really care about the EU. But now I kind of wish I had. And I feel like it's too late. It's too late to read it now because it doesn't exist, or they're just copying and pasting and like making everything shit. Like Ben Solo is like a discount version of Jason Solo.
Yeah. So there's so many great stories, and there's a few that are not great as well. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like all of it is amazing, but there's a lot of really good ones. The Thrawn story arc,
I heard of
great.
That. Yeah.
And even some of the stuff that I thought was silly, like the Yuzon Vong story arc that happens where there's a whole alien civilization in the far distant space comes in and like invades their galaxy. And I thought it was like silly, and they had like organic ships that worked off of, they were like giant whales kind of, or whatever. It was weird. And even that, now that I look back on it, I'm like, that's way better than what Disney did with it. So
yeah,
I even appreciate that stuff. But I go like, this is my canon for Star Wars. Everything before 2012 is Star Wars. Everything after that is Disney Star Wars. So I can still kind of imagine going back and thinking of Star Wars in that way. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of like the ship has sailed,
Yeah, I feel like there's no point in trying to read the EU because then you're just going to be really upset because you'll be like, this is such great material and we get nothing.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, so I just don't even bother. I kind of missed out when I was in high school. I should have done it.
Should have.
Why do you think pop culture is important?
I think it's important because it really is what that's how they formulate their view of the world. I know like a lot of people don't want to imagine that. They go, oh, I get my view of the world from pop culture, but a lot of people do. They watch television. They don't live in New York, but they watch a lot of movies that are based in New York or TV shows that are based in New York, and you kind of get your perception of what New York is through that. You also get it through media like the news, but you also get a lot of it from pop culture. And I really think that we get ideals from that. We get our kind of moral compasses through media. And it makes sense because throughout history, human history, the stories that we tell each other are how
Mhm.
we impart knowledge, right?
Mhm.
So it's only advanced now that we have movies and we have cameras and microphones and we can make a whole production out of it. But it's still a way of us imparting knowledge to each other and saying, this is how I think a good person would act. You know, like Luke Skywalker. What's the best person? How does he act? What's the hero act? You know, so you kind of impart knowledge, like I said. And I think that's why it's so important to keep these things in the forefront, is because they do that. They allow people to see somebody else's life and to have empathy for somebody else. And not like a woke empathy, fake empathy way, an actual way of going, oh, that's how somebody lives from over there. Okay, that's interesting. So I think that's why it's so important.